watu wote
wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote
wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu.
Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Sisi sote wananchi tushangilie.
Victoria inaunganisha
Yes, Kenya hii nchi tunayoipenda, hiyo ndio national anthem. Ukisikia tu hiyo unajua vizuri. Africa 24 political discussion is hereby starting at any time, and of course this is your daily political talk here, whereby we are discussing some of the top stories here as we pioneer our today's show. And of course, wherever you're following us for the first time, this is Africa 24. And of course, we have a lot of stories here we're going to discuss as we pioneer our today's show. Where are you following this conversation from? Follow us from YouTube, Africa 24. You're following us through Facebook, that is other social media platforms. You can join live this studio as you can share your ideas on what is happening in this country. And of course, the main topic today is William Ruto touring the Kisumu region and also county of Kisumu, whereby he was received with an heroic reception by those members in the Kisumu County and also the Lake region. As William Ruto conquered the Lake region, that is what we are asking here in Africa 24. Where are you joining this conversation from? So as we go on, I want you to continue sharing this live so that they can join wherever you're following. Anyone can join this live. And also, he give views to the Kenyans, educate the Kenyans on what is happening. And I'm not alone here. I'm joined by my good friend Dominic Nyabuto. Dominic, you welcome. Karibu sana. Tuambie unafuatilia ukiwa wapi na tarajia nini kwa usiku wa leo?
Asante sana my brother, naifuatilia nikiwa nataka kuelekea nyumbani, lakini nitasikiza tu. Niko njiani kuelekea kwa nyumba sasa, lakini nitafuatilia mjadala na nitatoa maoni yangu ikifika time hiyo. Asante sana my brother.
Yes, that is my good friend Dominic. He is joining on the way. And one of the stories that we are discussing today is William Ruto touring the Lake region, Kisumu, whereby the members of Kisumu and also the residents of Kisumu, they welcomed him with a big crowd turning, which is a question that we're asking here. As William Ruto conquered the Lake region after helping supporting Raila Odinga for the AU chairmanship, we saw some of the leaders speaking, the likes of Gladys Wanga, Nyong'o, that is also the governor of Kisumu spoke, and it's like now William Ruto has conquered the Lake region because the reception that he was given today, you remember the last year whereby he was given that reception when he went to Kisumu, and also this year when they were with the Gachagua, he was also received with that reception and a large number of crowds turning up so that they can receive William Ruto. And it's like when you give to Luo, they will always appreciate, because Raila Odinga has not even won the AU chairmanship, but now you can get the wave. You can also detect how they are trying to support William Ruto. And I've been following some of the conversation in the Hex account, and they are saying that if you think William Ruto is going to lose in 2027, then you are lost. I want just to ask, am I lost because 2027 is so close? And now whatever we saw today is like anything can happen. This was Gladys Wanga today. She spoke, and I'm going to play the clip of Gladys Wanga. Just before I play the clip of Gladys Wanga, I just want to ask if my good friend Dominic can share. What do you have to say about Ruto's reception today in Kisumu, Kondele?
You know my brother, hao wanasiasa ni kama sometimes wanachezea wananchi. Ile watu umeona huko Kisumu wamejitokeza kwa wingi. These people wanataka kuembrace Ruto. These people, they are waiting next year February. Hapo ndo tutasema kweli Ruto amepokelewa Kisumu. If anything going to happen, Raila Amolo Odinga ameshindwa hii kiti ya AU. My friends, you will see the carols of Wajaluo. Mimi natoka Nyanza side ya Kisii. Lakini let me tell you, Wajaluo ikifika next year February, kama papa ataanguka, wataambia papa ingia uwanjani. Saa hii wana bless Ruto because wanataka support ya Ruto ku convince those presidents wenye wajaamua. Hiyo ndio na wao wanataka. Kama papa atapita hii kiti ya AU, najua 2027 Ruto ataingia without the support of the Central Kenya. Lakini akianguka, wewe unaelewa mzee vizuri sana, anaserekea hapo Central Kenya. Pia yeye atafute marafiki kutoka pale. So hii ni game changer. Na hii game inaenda kukua next year February. Hapo ndo tutajua game penye itachezwa. Na Ruto na yeye maombi yake ni ile papa apite. That's the only way. Ndiye apate support ya Wajaluo. Of course Wajaluo wamepokelea Raila Kisumu, hii ni raundi ya pili. First time walimpokelea wakati walikuwa na Gachagua. Na hii leo penye alikuwa huko hiyo mkutano yenye walikuwa huko Kisumu. So what I will say, ile mambo yote Gladys Wanga aliongea pale. Unajua Gladys Wanga na yeye ni mwanasiasa. Anajaribu kufurahisha president kumwambia uko mbele iko sawa. Juu ya nini? President pia kase huko nje. Uko ni those presidents to support Raila Amolo Odinga. So Gladys Wanga yeye aliongea kwa niaba ya juu yeye unajua ni mwenyekiti wa ODM. Yeye aliongea so that president yaone kweli hawa watu watanisupport. Lakini my brother Bonnie, let me tell you, if Papa fails come next year, I think utajua rangi ya Wajaluo. Asante sana, wacha mtu mwingine aongee.
That is Dominic anasema kwamba if Raila Amolo Odinga fails to clinch this AU chairmanship, then this Luo community, Luo region will give a U-turn that William Ruto will get shocked. I'm also joined by Kijana ya Town. Kijana ya Town is here, Mzalendo is here. Kijana ya Town, welcome to Africa 24 political discussion here. And of course, we are asking, do you think William Ruto has conquered the Lake region from what you saw today during the reception at Kondele?
Mnanisikia vizuri?
Yeah.
Yeah, hii ni ile kitu inaitangwa mchezo ya town. Najua mimi ni kijana ya town, lakini hii unaona huko Kondele ni mchezo ya town. Basically we cannot, and I can assure you that this kind of crowds in a roundabout don't mean a lot. Take that group that was in the roundabout to Mamboleo Stadium. They can only occupy only one side of a stadium. What I'm trying to say is that this is what we call in English reverse psychology. Reverse psychology is that you mobilize people and you validate yourself so that people think that even the Luos are with the... I can tell you from where I sit, these people are mobilized with money, and I know what happens in when the president is visiting a place. Normally, it happens that every ward has to have a representative, women representative and men representative and the youth representative, and then they are gathered and told the president will be there by 2 p.m. for example. So if it's 2 p.m., they should be there singing and dancing. And even when the president is coming, the mobilizers tell them, now you shout. President akikohoa, shout. Akikunywa maji, shout. That is what we call reverse psychology. So for me, I am not so convinced that that crowd means the Luos have turned to UDA. UDA has failed them, and I think many people can attest to it when they go to the hospitals, when we go to the schools. I don't think any sane person can actually think of Ruto. Ruto has been very selfish. All what he has been doing for the last 2 years is to buy leaders, and the most variable commodity he got was Laila Amolo Odinga. He bought him. He draggled a card or a carrot for AUC, which I am telling you here, and they will be back here by March, because by February it will be February election. So we will be by early March. We can have a show here. Laila will only be last, and if he tries, he will be second last, because I don't think anybody will trust a political leader to lead the AUC because of the fear of meddling with their country. This is a man who is known, and I think all the presidents in Africa know that he proposed. And I have always voted for Raila. So, but I've come to realize sometimes he just proposed to be a human rights defender, where last when he's dabbled with some money, he can run with it and forget what he means. What I simply want to say in a very simplified manner. Many presidents in Africa want peace, Ruto included. It is in the interest of Ruto to get rid of Raila so that he can have a very smooth campaign come next 2027. But it is also in the interest of other presidents in Africa not to have a person who is a politically a political animal which can come to your country and start telling other people in that his people in that country that why are you being oppressed? I don't like this. You know the way Raila does in Africa, in Kenya. Wakati hayuko kwa bahasha anasemanga unga, you know, and then the president anaambia watu watoke kwa street. So people in many countries, and you can see even Somalia has rejected him. They will be afraid of the statements Raila will do or make in their countries. So the best Raila can be is last or second last, and that is my prediction. Rules are not going anywhere. They are just doing what we call political, as I said, just a term political games, where I'm so sure that they are doing this, trying to. You see, it is like let me put it this way: when you have a girlfriend who has left you, sometimes you want to revenge with her friend. And that is what exactly is happening with the Luos. They are caught between the two. They feel like we need to punish the Murima at the same time we need to support Raila to get to AUC. So they are caught somewhere where they are not so sure exactly what is our formation. So for me, I don't see any change because of a Kondele. Let me put it this way so that you understand my sentiment. Even when Ruto was campaigning against Raila Odinga, he could still gather the same crowd in Kondere with mobilization. He can. But that doesn't mean he has gotten the votes. So to answer your question, I'll tell you this. Luos have not gone anywhere, and I think they are part and parcel of a bigger family, because I think Kenya now is coming to a point where they're saying it doesn't matter who is the president. I think what matters is the service. In fact, I even heard some people saying, I wish even Ruto can appoint just Kalenjins, just the way they did in Moi University, from the from the vice chancellor to the sweeper, and then they devote Moi University. I wish they can do that in the government. They either devote or they provide service. We don't care if it is a deputy president who is a Kalenjin or the minister being Kalenjin. I think that is his desire. He would love that, but sometimes the constitution is supposed to be followed. But what people are really looking for is service delivery, not the head of state. Says we are in government, we are not in government. It doesn't matter. The economy is really boosting everybody. Everybody is in panic mode. People are not able to pay rent. People are not able to have bus fare. People are walking to work. Those are the things people are asking for. It's not about who is government. Now that Bandi is there and Kindiki is there, does it mean the people of Murima and the people of the Rakanivi are enjoying the economic prosperity? No, we are all suffering. So the question is, we want accountability, and this is what the church is saying. It is not about the individual. It is not about who is in and out. I think we have lived that kind of life for so many years, believing that there will be a time that our man being in power will solve problems. In fact, as I finish, I'll tell you this. I'm from Murima, and I think people from the mountain have also decided this thing called presidency and deputy presidency. It is bringing us curse than blessing. So we shall support the guy who will be supported by the Gen Zs as a people of the mountain, because we have found that Gen Zs are people who have a new way of doing things and they are tribeless. And so whoever they choose, whether it is Mutata, whether it's Matiangi, Morara, Kebaso, we don't even care. We want to support a person who brings sanity to this country, and this country can go back to its senses. So asante sana, naona waheshimiwa kina mzalendo wako hapo bwana, wako gangari, wamevaa combat. Kwa hivyo asante sana mzalendo bwana, tunakufa huku bwana, and you're not haurushi kitu bwana,
unajua people who
haurushi
don't
kitu.
know, unajua people who don't know you might think that you are new in this game or you don't know what you're saying. But having been a Baba supporter, I am surprised with what you just said this evening. You are a great supporter of Raila Odinga, and I remember we used to differ in terms of principles. I don't know when you'll come and apologize to me directly and tell me my brother was wrong. Me, I have acknowledged my mistake, and since then, I have moved on to, to look for new leaders who can help our country, Kenya. So I think you need to come to that junction and realize that this country needs true leadership. This country this country needs Uzalendo. This country doesn't need tribe. This country needs a unifying factor, and let us for once be unified in terms of the economy of Kenya, in terms of industrialization of our country, not political figures. Now back to the issue that has happened today. I think that is a reaction politics because Gachagua had a big crowd just the other day in Embu. And I think Ruto is testing the waters. He's trying to tell those from Mulima, Kenya, that he has found a new home, and the home is in Nyanza. Now the thing is, just like Dominic had said earlier, is can you really satisfy this new bride? You know, the people of Nyanza, the way they are talking is that they are supporting William Ruto because of Baba AUC seat. So suppose Baba fails in the AUC seat, you'll see that this is a group that will also gather around and look for support elsewhere. But the sad part about politics is that people make the wrong decisions, sometimes. But you have to acknowledge as a president that you made a wrong decision. Kicking off Gachagua from the deputy, if the clock could be reversed, William Ruto would not have made that decision. Central Province was a very important ally to Ruto's stability in government. And why am I saying this? Because politics is about numbers and it's about stability. And those who have voted for you are called your supporters. So those supporters that voted for you have got expectations. Expectations means that you have to provide for them what you agreed upon. Ruto's visit today in Nyanza has got expectations. The people of Nyanza are expecting that William Ruto will revive the blue economy. William Ruto will talk to the farmers, the fish farmers, the sugarcane farmers in the region. So this is something that a politician does. And if you have a political party, then you need to move towards that direction. So it is not wrong for William Ruto to go to Nyanza. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya, and is looking for numbers. Remember, this is a region that did not vote for him in the last election. So getting them to vote for him this time, it's a challenging game in Nyanza. It is a very, very challenging game because I look at it politically. There are people who support UDA in Luo Nyanza, and same as by extension, Kisi, they support ODM. So if we have got UDA supporters in this region, what does it mean to the ODM strong supporters or to the UDA supporters who want to buy in various seats in Luo Nyanza? That is where the complication is. And remember, the political money, the money that is given to political parties after annually after every election, depending on the number of seats that you get in Parliament and in Senate and various assemblies. So it is a calculation that you really have to think through whether you are supporting UDA or ODM. It is going to be a challenging times. But the dishonesty by Raila Odinga is that they have never had a handshake with William Ruto, but now it is evident that the handshake was indeed there. ODM supporters and brigade have been denying in many forums that, oh, we don't have an handshake. We only have some players who have been given on loan, the likes of John Mbadi, the likes of Wandai, the likes of Paranya, Joe. They were just given on loans. So this is again something that is haunting the ODM brigade, wherever they are. And remember, they are also doing their grassroots nomination, their grassroots elections this week. This week, by the end of this month, they will have finalized with their grassroots election. So there's a lot of politics that is going to go on in Kenya. But most importantly, there are new players in the game. I think it is high time that Kenya, we clean the whole mess that has been happening in our country. Otherwise, thank you.
Yes, Mzalendo, that is awesome. And he's saying that the Luos know that if they support Ruto, they are going to get this support for the AU chairmanship, and they are loyal to their tribe. We are also joined by Dr. Benjamin. Dr. Benjamin, welcome to today's discussions, and also you give us your views about the president touring the region of Kisumu, and of course, the entire Luo nation is now supporting that is William Samoei Ruto, despite the impeachment of Gachagua. Now it's like William Ruto has found a new home. Did you think that the Luos are saying it with all their heart, or they're just trying to pretend? If Raila fails to clinch the AU, then they're going to give a U-turn.
Did you ask?
Yes. I asked Benjamin.
Benjamin,
Benjamin,
okay. Benjamin, go ahead. Your mic is on. Benjamin, we can't hear you. Your mic is now off. I think Benjamin is struggling to link up.
Benjamin, I think, yeah, it's.
Yeah, you can log out and log back, so that you can yes. Bonnie, what was your question? What are you doing?
Benjamin, I just asked Benjamin. Benjamin, do you think that the Luos are just doing this with all their heart, or if Ruto fails to support Raila for the AU chairmanship, then they are going to give a U-turn again? Or if Raila fails, as Kijana Town has said, that Raila might not win this AU chairmanship, and the Luo region will just stop supporting William Ruto. So Dominic,
Dominic, you can go ahead of me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, my brother, I support hiyo penye Msarenda amesema. Unajua hii mambo ya siasa ni ngumu sana. My thoughts are, my guess is the thought that being midway, the term of House and the electrical circle getting into the formal arrangements, negotiations and arguments, penye mnaendelea unaona penye zinaendelea, UDA needs ODM more than ODM needs UDA. I think mnaendelea kuangalia vitu venye siko. That is why we have some silent form of state in relationship. Unaona UDA inataka kuchingiza kwa ODM, lakini ni ile tu hawajatangaza. Time yenye itafika watangaze wameungana pamoja ni next year February. Saa hii unaona ni kama ODM iko kwa government. Ukiona maneno venye wanafanya kwa parliament, unaona ODM iko parliament. Sasa unaishindwa which is minority na majority. Chua watu wote sasa wanafanana hapo ndani. Ni ile tu wanaongojea penye Msarenda amesema. Saa hii ODM wanaweza jifanya ni marafiki wa UDA zaidi because wanataka Ruto pia aingize mkono yake pale EU. Kuna kitu my friend hapo ameongea, nimekosa jina yake kidogo. Kuna kitu amesema hapa ati Ruto achague deputy president, anaweza chagua mtu yote kutoka Kalenjin. Please, hii ni Kenya my friend. Mwezi fanya hivyo. Hata wewe mwenyewe unajua president hawezi fanya kitu kama hiyo. Hawezi fanya kabisa totally. Anyway, hiyo ni maoni yako. Mimi na support. Kuna kitu Msarenda ameongea hapo, kitu moja, jambo mzuri sana. Hao Wajaluo, hata mimi nimekuwa supporter ya ODM since 2007. Nimekuwa mimi nikipigia Raila kura. Hao majamaa wakihitaji kitu, angalia saa hii venye walipewa 2 ministers. You can think Jaluos are in even. Ukiona ile venye wanasangilia Ruto pale Kondele, uweze hao majamaa ukitaka kuwawini, ukiwapea kitu na kuwa promise, they will support you. Lakini wamejificha nyuma wakingoja February. Kama baba ataanguka na wao wataondoka. I'm telling you, wataondoka. Wataambia papa njia kwa debe, sisi tuko na wafuasi wako wanalimeni kuwa wako, tukupigie kura. You see? Sasa papa pia yeye ataanza kutafuta marafiki. Unajua wanasiasa ni wakora. Wewe unaweza ona saa hii ati ulisikia juzi inaangalia Uhuru Kenyatta pale anasema ati siku hizi anasikiza magazeti na radio. My brother, hao majamaa unaweza pata wanapiga madili nyuma ya tent. Sisi hatuwezi kujua. Juzi umeona wanasema ati kuna handshake between Ruto na president former. Ati umesikia huyu jamaa alikuwa minister for health, ati wanataka kumpea kiti ya internal. Anything can happen. Wewe ukajua, unajua wanasiasa ni wakora. Sisi wananchi tuko pale pale. Anyway, wacha niwaachie hapo mwingine ongee. Asante.
Benjamin, Dominic anasema hao wanasiasa ni wakora sana na hatujui chenye wanapika huko nyuma ya tent. Daktari Benjamin, karibu sana Freak 24, utuambie maoni yako ni gani kuhusu William Ruto kutembelea pale Kondele? Na ni kama Wajaluo wameanza kumpatia support. Benjamin, are you there?
Inaka
Akona shida ya connection maybe.
I'm a mute.
Benjamin unmute, alafu sasa uendelee na kuongea. Okay. Mzalendo, unafikiri sasa ni wakati wa Wajaluo kuingia kwa serikali?
Anaweza sema hivi. Unajua, I am really trying to avoid hizi mambo Ujaluo, Wakikuyu, Wakalenjin, Wanani. Mimi ni Mkenya. Ningependa tuanze kuangazia Kenya kuwa na majamii zingine kama Wagiriama, Wateso, makabila zingine mingi. Na kila wakati najaribu kufikiria hivyo, bado unarudishwa kwa siasa ya Wakikuyu, Wajaluo, Waluya, Wakalenjin. Na kuna kabila ya Wakauma, wale wanatoka kule ni Wamijikenda, wako kule chini, kule pwani. Na hiyo ndio kabila ndogo kabisa. Kuna kabila ya Ogiek. Au wana viongozi na wanaweza kuwa na kiongozi bora kushinda wale viongozi unaona wamejitokeza hapa kama Raila Odinga, William Ruto na wengineo wale kila saa tunawaangazia kina Gachagua, kina nani. So wacha tuangalie chama ambacho kitaunganisha Wakenya wote kwa msingi ya kujenga uchumi wa Kenya. Kwa msingi ya kujenga uchumi wa Kenya na kujenga taifa linaitwa Kenya. Sio taifa inaitwa taifa ya Ujaluo ama ya Wakikuyu ama watu wa Mrima ama Wakamba. Tuangalie hizi chama zimetengenezwa na msingi za kikabila, ni vipi tunaweza zimaliza? Kwa sababu shida ni sisi, shida sio viongozi. Shida ni sisi. Bwana Dominic akisema hao Wajaluo mimi nawajua kwa sababu ni majirani wake na siasa yao iko namna hii. Wakiona Raila ameanguka watarudi pande ile nyingine, warudi kuanze kusupport baba. Lakini wanamsupport ili akuwe kiongozi ama wanamsupport kwa sababu yeye ni Mjaluo? Hiyo ndio swala lafaa kuangalia kwa makini. Na je, Dominic, ukiangalia umri wa baba saizi katika siasa, ni umri wake umeenda kidogo, na bila shaka by the time tunafika kule 2027 umri utakuwa umezidi. So tukiangalia siasa lazima tuangazie mambo mengine pia. Na tukianza kuongea kwa umoja juu ya uchumi wa nchi, juu ya mazingira unapoishi, juu ya elimu bora, juu ya afya, then tutakuwa na viongozi wale wanaweza tusaidia. Tuangazie zile vitu zinatufaa. Tuangazie juu ya kazi, ajira kwa vijana. Ni vipi kiongozi anaona ni vizuri ama ni vyema kutafuta kazi nje ya nchi kuliko kuambia hizo makampuni zikuje ziwekeze rasilimali zao hapa nchini Kenya ili hizo viwanda ziwe hapa na watoto wetu wapate ajira. So tuangalie hao viongozi, mimi nilikuwa shabiki namba moja wa Rais William Ruto, lakini mahali alianguka ni moja. Zile vitu walisema atatimiza, hajazitimiza mpaka wa sasa, na ile mauaji bado yanaendelea katika nchi ya Kenya dhidi ya wale ambao wanasemekana kuwa wafuati serikali ni mingi mno. So ni vipi kama Wakenya tutaangalia candidate yule anatufaa kwa wakati huu na kwa muda huu wa siasa? Hiyo ndio nafsi ile tumepatiwa hapa. Hata ukija Afrika hapa, ndio nafsi naomba tuwe wazalendo na tuangalie hizi kabila. Tukiangalia tangu tupate uhuru 1963 mpaka wa leo, how has tribe benefited you as a person? So you will realize even that crowd that you're seeing, that cabal, at the end of the day, they'll be given some 500 bob, 200 bob to go home with. And that is the only benefit that they will get from the political class. So we need to be very, very careful on the kind of leaders. But I am happy that there are new people have started whispering about people like Maraga, people like Okiya Mtata joining the political arena. So we have got a cocktail of candidates that we can choose from in this political game that we cannot go wrong this time round. Tumefika wakati wa lazima tufanye juu chini, tukuwe na uamuzi ni kiongozi gani tunataka aongoze nchi ya Kenya. Asante.
That is Mzalendo is saying we have to make changes in this country, a change that will give Kenyans that service. But of course, you know, in 2027, I've been following some of the conversation in the X accounts of some of the influencers, and they are saying that the game is over. 2027, Ruto is going to win. Ruto is going to win 2027 general election. But now, the kind of leaders that Mzalendo you are saying, the likes of Okiya Mtata, Morara Kebaso, you know, they are still there, and I've been following some of the statistics that are saying that Okiya Mtata, Kebaso, Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i, you know, the statistics are saying that there are some percentages that Kenyans are voting in the social media. But now, still Kenyans have not decided. You know, Kijana Town was saying that you will vote for any Gen Z who is going to be nominated. But you saw the other day, Kasamuel joined ODM. Today he spoke and said that he joined ODM for bigger opportunities, but he's not ready to hear the Gen Z. But here, just asking, Dominic, who do you think he can be the best person for competing with William Ruto if 2027 things are going to be like this, what we are seeing?
Okay, my brother, first of all, the best candidate mwenye anayesaletea Ruto pesa kidogo ni timu ya Matiang'i na Tembea, Okiya Mtata. Those people, they are serious. Rights of Kebaso Morara, I think from last week, I don't support that gentleman. Kitu yenye mimi, I can't support that gentleman. Ila wakati impeachment ya Gachagua ilikuwa, uliona huyo jamaa mwenyewe alienda pale social media akasema anatafuta Gachagua. Do you know what? Wale watu wenye tulikuwa tunachukia ile maneno Gachagua alikuwa anaongea kuhusu shareholding, na usikie Kewasa akisema ati nataka kutafuta Gachagua, it means ni kama kulikuwa na mkono ya Gachagua kwa hii kitu ya huyu jamaa kusunguka Kenya mzima. kuonyesha hii mambo inaendelea. Maybe alikuwa sponsored so that atembee atuonyeshe penye kuko. I'm not supporting the president, but kuna some guys who are not serious like Kabaso. Lakini the likes of Matiang'i, ukiwa Mtata, hao watu na kina anatembea, those people are serious. Hao watu wako serious na nchi yetu. My brother, our country imesangi, yani nchi yetu hakuna. Ukiangalia penye taxes zinaongezwa kila siku, tunasukumiwa so that watu wengine wapate pesa waipe. Leo nimesapikia sana kuona mapasta wakisema ati the president has stop kupeana promises. Ukweli wacha kupeana promises zingine. Sina promises alitupea zimetutosa. Sasa kila siku akiamka akienda mahali promise after promise. Surely hizi promises zitakuwa mpaka lini? President anaamka anatupea promise ile yenye alipeana time ya election atatimiza. Surely hiyo ni kazi gani hiyo? So that's why nasema ticket ya Matiang'i, Umtata na Tembea, hao majamaa na likes of Maraga, hao majamaa wako serious. Hao majamaa wanasaidia nchi yetu. Lakini Kalonzo bado ninamwangalia kwa umbali. Mimi nilisema Kalonzo akiwacha kutembea na watu wako impeached. Hawacha kabisa tafute serious people. Waacha kutembea na watu na kina papa yao. Sasa papa yao watu really Kalonzo msitoka zuali. Hiyo kitu inaniuma sana nikiona Kalonzo akitembea na mtu kama huyo. Because papa yao can't help Kalonzo anything. Kalonzo atafute watu kama Matiang'i. Watu wanatembea. Those strong youths. Hao ni kama youths. Hawatafuta hao majamaa watengeneze nchi yetu. Lakini sasa yeye akiendelea kutembea pale na akina papa yao na watu wengine atapotea tu tena, anaweza kuja apata ama jamaa wameshinda tena ingie katikati venye. Unajua Kalonzo yeye kitu nampendanga na ingia katikati na anafit. So mimi kitu naweza sema president kabisa, hata mimi naunga mapasta wache kupeana promises. Atimize zile promises alizotupea. Sasa kama saa inaleta shida hapa Kenya. Sasa hii kuna watoto wanaenda grade 9. Bado masura itachengwa. Next year shule zinafunguliwa. Hakuna mikakati yoyote imewekwa. Choose president ametudanganya ati kufikia wiki saa itakuwa imekuwa imelipwa 3.9 billion. Sasa saa hii my brother, leo nilikuwa na mgonjwa. My friend, ile shida kwa hospitali ni kubwa. Mimi nikisikia president akisema ninaangalia hivi nasema president unadanganya. Unaona minister anaingia kwa TV anasema ati we have created. Ukienda hospitali unaambiwa wapay ndio upate services. Surely. President anafaa angalie vitu zingine, anachaipisa pia yeye mwenyewe. Hizi vitu sasa ameanza kupishana na Gachagua, anaona Gachagua wako na crowd kubwa pale Central, pia yeye anataka kukimbia Kisumu onyesha Gachagua wako na crowd. Hii crowd chasing iwezi kusaidia sisi wananchi wa kawaida. Anafaa focus ya tusaidie. So tati hapa mbele ndio tumwangalie kama atarudi. Lakini for now Ruto hako na shida kubwa. Na hako na kibarua. Asante sana.
Dominic anasema Ruto ako na kibarua. Zalendo, do you think that Ruto has a heavy task ahead as he prepares for 2027? Because whatever I saw today is like Ruto is now campaigning for 2027.
I can tell you that there's a problem in William Ruto's camp, and that is the reason why lazima akae na Raila Odinga, because ule mtu angeweza kubabaisha Ruto kisiasa ni Raila Odinga, unaona. So you can imagine had Ruto fallen out with Gachagua, as Ruto already has fallen out with Gachagua, who is the strongest person apart from Raila Odinga who can hold Ruto's hand and help him stabilize the government in the absence of Raila? Tuseme tutoe tu Raila kwa hii discussion yote na Ruto amekosana na Mlima. Hebu niambie hii serikali ni nani angeiweza kuweka pamoja? Unapata hakuna, because there's hostility for William Ruto everywhere, and majorly even in his own backyard, Rift Valley. I would have expected Ruto today aende huko Rift Valley akuwe na crowd kama hiyo huko Nakuru, the capital, or even Eldoret, to counter what Gachagua has done. But he decided to go to Luo Nyanza. Now, the people of Nyanza, and I think it is, they're used to small gains. Unaona vitu kidogo kidogo kama walipatiwa cabinet, hiyo wamefurahi. Them, they are contented with small things. Unaona, na hiyo ni shida. Hiyo ni shida. Kwa sababu tulikuwa tumefika, Gen Zs walikuwa wamefikisha hii serikali mahali ilikuwa either government ya William Ruto atoke, tukuwe na serikali mpya, lakini hakufanya hivyo. Na pia Ruto alikuwa na nafasi bora zaidi kutekeleza yale majukumu Wakenya wengi walikuwa nataka. When the Gen Zs presented what they wanted from Ruto's government. That list was so informative that had Ruto followed that list, then today he would be a very comfortable president with all the support of the young people. But instead, he put this list aside, call on his brother Raila Odinga, hey, kujo nisaidie hapo bwana. Hii kumeumana, naenda nyumbani ndugu. And call on Uhuru Kenyatta, bwana hapa, hey, unajua nyinyi mko na mali mingi sana hata kunishinda. Hii nchi ikiharibika, hii yote itapotea kuja. So right now, I can tell you for free, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, William Ruto, and Raila Odinga are working together. They are working together. And mostly, I would say, okay, is it for the interest of stability? That is good. But for the interest of their personal property, then that is what makes the difference. So for the interest of the stability of the country, it is a good thing. But it is for political gain. What will happen in 2020 in 2027 might be a very different scenario altogether. Before William Ruto made this trip to Nyanza, Uhuru Kenyatta had faced the same hostilities. You guys remember, and with his closest ally, who is William Ruto, he made a trip to Nyanza. He did not go to his rural home in Central to prove his point when Ruto had this massive support. If you can go back and play the clips or what
Just 2 days after publicly telling off Quad boss Raila Odinga over the latter's opposition to the reported Uganda sugar deal, President Kenyatta's visit to Kisumu was expected to be a tricky outing.
Asante sana. My goodness. Wenzangu wa Kisumu hamjambo.
But the reception at the fanatical base of his political nemesis was surprising for the enthusiastic reception
you can just remove the video, my brother.
Officially, Kenyatta was at the Lakeside town to host the winners of this year's Kenya's Music Festival.
You see that video tells you a lot that happened. Uhuru visited Kisumu nearly at this time when they had problems with William Ruto as the vice president. William Ruto has visited Kisumu at the same time when they had problems with his deputy Gachagua, and of course Gachagua has since then been impeached. Now, what does this tell you? It is the same pattern of the political cabal to use the numbers of people who don't look at politics in a critical manner. So a tribe in Kenya is used for numbers. And that's why I have told you that we need to come to a place where we are thinking about the country economically and not tribally, the way things are looking in my country, Kenya. So Ruto making this trip is a statement that, hey, look here, Central Kenya or Gachagua, you might think that I have lost you. I have now found a new bride, and that is the people of Luo Nyanza. So that is the way it is. Now, did Uhuru's coming to Nyanza give Raila Odinga the support that he needed in Central? The answer is no. He didn't get it. Now, is Ruto losing Central Kenya base critical in 2027? Yes, it is critical. It is very, very critical. Central Kenya will determine who becomes the president in 2027. It is that simple. It is that simple. You cannot separate that. Central Kenya will determine who becomes the president and or who becomes the opposition leader in 2027. So this is something that is there. We need to look at it in that perspective. Thank you. There is Jeremiah. Jeremiah Omondi is here. Maybe you can give him a chance.
Yes, Jeremiah Omondi, welcome to the political discussion here, and you give us your views about William Ruto touring the Kisumu and also Kondele. What is your take? Do you think that William Ruto has acquired a new home after he parted ways with Gachagua?
Hey, thank you guys so much. I've just found Nick. You just posted this on a group, and I was like, let me join and see what's happening. And I've shared it with Opio. I've told him to join as well.
With Opio.
Yeah, I've sent it directly to him and told him he needs to join this because it's a very pertinent discussion. Now, I mean, politics is about numbers. Politics is about strategy. Ruto knows very well that his path to State House goes through Central or goes through Nyanza. Through Central, it worked in the last election, and he got there, albeit with a lot of headache. He hasn't been sitting pretty this first 2.5, 3 years of his presidency. And he had to get rid of his problem one way or another. In the process of doing that, he has to have a backup strategy. If I get rid of this Murima thing, where do I go? My next bet is to go to my backup route through State House, which is Luo Nyanza. And Luo Nyanza through Raila. And I say this to a lot of people all the time. Some people dispute it, some people agree, but I think it is proven that anytime you have Raila behind you, you have approximately 98 to 99, if not 100% of Luo Nyanza vote behind you. You have between 80 to 90% of Kisii Nyanza behind you. You have between 90 to 95% of Western vote behind you. You have between 80 to 90% of coastal region votes behind you. And then, of course, Ruto being the president, and Northeastern, we know they always go with the government of the day. They've always gone with the government of the day since the time of independence. So he has that almost 100%. What does that leave? That leaves Central and, sorry, I'm forgetting Eastern. When you have Raila, Lower Eastern, you have almost 70 to 80% of Lower Eastern, right? And a very small portion of Rift Valley, probably 20-30%. So that leaves only Nairobi, which is very cosmopolitan, and Murima. So Ruto knew that if he's shedding his perceived problem in the name of Gachagua, he has to snatch Raila. And he did that very well. He's doing it. It's a long game. And it's a game that he's not going to let go, because he knows that if he loses Raila, he can't go back to Murima. Murima has rejected him. They won't take him in no matter what. So that means that he's going to stick it out with Raila, no matter how bad it is. He will stick it out. If it means buying Raila, he will buy Raila, and we all know Raila can be bought. Whether by appeasing his ego, right? By incorporating his cronies into the government, by paying him literally, by giving him money. We know that those things happen. He plays those types of games. So if you ask me, Ruto has assumed the Luo Nyanza vote, but he has to do something. Just like you said, Nick, Uhuru, right? Uhuru went to Nyanza when he had problems with his deputy, but he did things. He did things in that region that people did not imagine it could or ever been possible for a government to do for that part of the country. So Ruto, as much as he has assumed that political base, he's going to have to do things for those people. He has to come up with projects that people will see. Uhuru, you can say, amewacha, the shipbuilding yard is going. He spent money there. He resurrected some good projects. And Ruto is also starting that way. He's paid off the loans for all the sugar companies. He did in the State of the Union address. So as much as he has assumed that base, he has work to do. He has to do things development-wise that the people in those regions will appreciate. That is my thought.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeremiah, for that wonderful submission. And maybe, Dominic, you have something to add on what Jeremiah said?
Okay, my brother. Mi kuna kitu hapo naweza unga Jeremiah mkono. Yeye amesema Raila kununuliwa ni rahisi. I support it. Na kuna mahali imefikia sasa, kama sisi wale supporters wa Raila, we think Raila atakangi kukuwa president. Raila is a man who mwenye anakaa kununuliwa yeye. Of course, Jeremiah amesema Ruto atastiki na Raila up to the end. My brother Jeremiah, nataka nikuambie siasa ni kitu mbaya sana. Saa hii mlima mahali wamefika ni mwisho. They can do anything. If Raila fails, Raila anaweza ruka zaidi ile. Na wale watasema kweli tumekuwa tukinyima mzee kura. I support msarendo venye alisema. Unajua game ni hii politics ni game changer. Raila anaweza rudi hapa Central na apendo kabisa. na apigiwe kura because to punish Ruto. Sahi mlima imetoka Ruto 100% imemtoka. Kulingana mimi wale majamaa anakuwa na wao mali niko hapa Ruto wanasema ni tawe. Hata akijaribu kuwafanyia nini hasa watoka. So Ruto kitu anafaa afanye bidii ya kufanya mzee asinde ile kiti ya AU. Asiposhinda 2027 mimi nimeona Raila 2027 akiwa
imeenda kiti
ya AU ilishaenda, bado you have option AU. Hiyo ilishaenda kitambo sana bwana.
Haijaenda my brother because kura ichapiwa. Kura ichapiwa. So next year 2027 tunaweza stukia Raila against Ruto. Na tutashangaa sana.
You know the problem with my duo brothers like Jeremy. Them they are always optimistic. I've never met a group that is so optimistic and they have got these answers, especially when it comes to politics and Baba involvement. Now he has just directly translated.
Let me correct you.
Yeah.
Nick, let me correct you. I didn't mean to say Raila is going to win.
Whether it's the opposite or not.
Imeenda as in Raila is not going to win it. How?
No, I mean,
yes.
That's the optimism that I'm talking about the Luo community.
I thought you were saying that the optimism is that Raila is going to win.
No, the optimism is always there. That you have made a resolve that this thing it has either been taken by this person or not. Hii mambo hata election it is inconsequential because hii kitu imeenda. My people are always like that. Hii kitu imeenda. But you see, hii kitu ya OAU, I think Raila is meddling into the local politics a lot and is not concentrating on the international in the African Union politics. He is always trying to talk about something that is happening in the country. Just the other day, nimeona up for social platform, hata Somalia wamekataa sasa wapigi Raila kura. Somalia, wale people we have accommodated even in our country here, and they are not going to vote for Raila Odinga.
But do you know why they are doing that? Do you know why they are doing that?
I don't know.
The geopolitics of Africa is that the Islamic Africa and the Christian Africa are separated on those lines. Now the Islamic Africa led by Egypt, okay? Egypt right now is destabilizing Ethiopia because of the dam that Ethiopia has built. And how are they destabilizing Ethiopia? By instigating a war between Ethiopia and Somalia and making Ethiopia to take sides in the Eritrea and Ethiopian war. Then anyone who supports Ethiopia, like which is what Kenya did, becomes an enemy of Somalia, and by extension becomes an enemy of Egypt. So Egypt is working to consolidate the Islamic vote against Raila, and that is where the genesis of Somalia not going to vote for Raila starts. That is the story that is going on. That is how that is working out.
Oh, you see, you bring a very interesting perspective that nobody is looking at. That is the reason why sometimes these forums are very good, that people come. I didn't look at it like that. I have never looked at it in terms of war. That Ethiopia and the dam that they have built, the dam that they have built is bringing tension in Eritrea. Already they are enemies with Eritrea. So Eritrea, if Ethiopia is voting for Raila, Eritrea will not vote for Raila.
Exactly. Yes.
So it will not vote for Raila. And Egypt the same, will not vote for Raila Odinga.
So Egypt is leading the Islamic African countries supporting the guy from Djibouti
Exactly.
and not Raila on religious basis.
Or Islamic countries.
That is the genesis of that.
Now, it is likely that Ethiopia might lean towards Somalia in this all Raila AU thing, AUC. Ethiopia Ethiopia might vote, well, might not vote for Raila Odinga.
They probably won't. They probably won't.
Probably, because Ethiopia is leaning towards Somalia. Anything
towards Islamic vote, not towards Somalia.
Islamic vote. And you know, these Ethiopians for a very long time, you know, have you ever met an Ethiopian? Ethiopians think that they're not African.
Exactly.
They don't. They don't consider themselves Africans.
They don't. Even now they carry themselves. Even they don't even marry Africans. They rarely. These Ethiopians, they don't.
They don't
consider themselves black.
They don't. Yeah, they don't consider that is the right thing. They don't consider themselves black.
Yeah. Hata hiyo tapia imeingia kwa Morocco. Hata wa Morocco unajua wanasema they are not in Africa.
North Africans, those sides, those ones, they've been like that. Algeria, Morocco, Libya, Egypt, and all of that. They've been like that. But you see, Ethiopians, theirs is even in the Bible. The Bible recognizes them as non-Nubians, which means they are more white than black. And then that carries on even as late as the colonial period. They were never even colonized. So when they look at that, they look at the rest of Africa like wale watu, you know. so they don't consider themselves like that. And that's why it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing in the sense that that's why they're able to stand up to Egypt and tell Egypt, look, we have every right to use the Nile just as much as you do. If you have a treaty with England, we were never colonized by the English. So don't tell us that the treaty you had with England concerning the Nile in CG 18 what is applicable now. We are building the dam, you do what you want. Exactly. You see? So that's a good aspect of that. And countries like Kenya and Uganda and Rwanda and Sudan, we are unable to stand up to Egypt and tell them, look, guys, Egypt, I mean, River Nile is for all of us. It's not for you only. Now that tension between Ethiopia and Egypt has necessitated Egypt to instigate a war between Ethiopia and Somalia, and they are supporting Somalia, and the support they're giving to Somalia includes even the upcoming AUC chairmanship. They are going to work with the Ethiopia to do that. So Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, all of the Islamic speaking African countries are not going to vote for Raila. That is given. And they're a big bloc. That is one. And then two, when you look at the Anglophone and the Francophone West Africa, the Anglophone that we have with us is probably Nigeria and Ghana. They might support Raila. The Francophone West Africa, right? They have a Francophone guy also standing, who is running against Raila, right? Then when you come down to SADC, South African, they had already declared that they are going to go the way of the guy from Djibouti, and this was mentioned. This was announced by South African president himself. So if you look at those numbers, what is the path for Raila to get to the AU chairmanship? It's not going to be very easy. Mzalendo, you are on mute.
You are on mute. Zarendo.
Yeah, when you look at what you just said, countries like Liberia, those are Anglophone countries, and
Yes.
who are they likely to? And Sierra Leone, Zambia. I don't know about Zimbabwe. I've not Zimbabwe. Maybe may support
Zimbabwe,
Raila. Hmm?
Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique. Those are studied. South African Development Corporation. They're like our EAC. But SADC
Oh.
itself declared. The chairman, the current chair of SADC is Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa is the one who announced that SADC as a bloc is going to vote for the Djibouti guy.
So South Africa has also pronounced that they are going to vote for the Djibouti guy.
Exactly.
And it's not their decision.
Now, Jeremy, I agree with you that take it in the head.
It's a decision of SADC, not a decision of South Africa as a country. A decision of SADC as a bloc.
Decided that. Then why are we wasting money on Raila Odinga campaigning for this seat? And the numbers are there in SADC already.
Maybe Ruto is going to count these votes.
What?
Ruto is going to count these votes.
We have got only one vote. You know, Dominic, we have got only one vote.
We only have one vote.
We only one vote as a country. You know, people think that there are many votes. It is only one president voting. Only one.
Yes.
My friends, I had last time, wakisema Ruto ako under hiyo body elections, maybe it's going to rig.
There you can't rig one. There you cannot rig.
Anyway, sometimes we drift to other things that are also important to our country, and especially this election. Now we have learned something so new, it's something that Jeremy, you have brought. You sit down in that group with all this knowledge instead of telling Kenyans what things are and the way things. We have learned now a lot about.
You see, in that group, people make noise. But this is a very interesting and very intimate discussion. We are talking, and I can see you, and you can see me. And unauliza najibu, nauliza unajibu, which is the way to go.
Yeah. There is a market. Everybody comes with their own stories about things. Now there's another important issue that I really want you to weigh in and give me your thought. The electoral board in Kenya has decided that they are no longer going to transmit elections live the way they used to do. Why are we still crumbling with the issue of elections in Kenya? Is it, here in the US, elections were done by 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
I was supporting Kamala Harris. I had seen the results up to 9 p.m. And I am telling you, I was running scared because by 9 p.m., there were all indications from all the media outlets that this guy, that Trump is going to win. So somebody was telling me, oh, please, Harris came out, started saying that we are going to have a long night. But we started seeing the shift. We didn't need an electoral board to come and tell us, hey, Nani has won this. Can you imagine? It's the media that were calling out that, hey, Trump is winning in Georgia. Trump is winning in Venezuela and all that. Now in Kenya, such a simple thing like an election with a population of 40 million people, they cannot conduct. They need to do how many IBC members, to do how many commissioners, and then the results are taken again to Bomas. I liked what Okiya Mtata said, and we read on the same page. Elections are done at a polling station. The results are announced. If you can know that your MC has won in this polling station and your president has also won in that polling station, that is the result.
Exactly.
Why is it being transported to Bomas for somebody to announce it at Bomas? Yet we have got agents, a countrywide who can announce these results. So we are being lied to by the political parties. they want a way also to benefit and rig the elections or to create positions for their supporters. That's how I look at it, because it's a whole scheme of the political cabal to keep us on this suspense and on the election mode, so that we don't elect people of our choices in these elections. That's how I look at it. The political class, they don't want us to elect people people that we want in these positions. So they would rather use that window. In my county where I come from, to announce that an MC has won or an MP has won, these results have to be taken to Homa Bay town. They have to be transported to Homa Bay town to make the announcement. What stupidity is this?
And it takes 2 days to 3 days to announce.
Kwa nyuma sana Kenya.
Hii ni ujinga tu, lazima tuisimamishe. Hakuna tiati tuko nyuma. Hii ni ujinga, lazima tusimamishe in order to have integrity in the election. It is so simple. The media houses, the mainstream media houses, have got the capacity to have every reporter in every other polling station or every other constituency in Kenya.
But you see, Msarendo, here in Kenya, these politicians huwa wanakuanga na kila mtu wako na TV yake, so they don't trust these stations. Unasikia mtu anasema hii ni ya Azimio, hii ni ya UDA. You see, hata mtu
hata huku iko hivyo. But when it comes to the results, hakuna results ya UDA na hakuna results ya ODM. Results ni ile kura umepata. Unaona? Kama itaannouncewa na station ya ODM, itakuwa ni hiyo results yako. Fox News here in the last elections, Fox ni Republicans.
Exactly.
You know, election ijaisha, then Fox News comes out when everybody else is quiet. Na ni station ya Trump inasema Trump ameshindwa Georgia. Do you know how Trump was mad about that? So how can our own station call out that we have lost in Georgia? But they were looking at the numbers because they had reporters on the ground telling them, even if the results are going to come out, zikuja hata zote zile zimekuja, hata hizo zote 100%. Hii hapa ameshashindwa. It is that simple. You know, ukienda hivyo itakuwa unaona, itakuwa ni hivi. It will be like Rift Valley yote ikishahesabiwa, Central ishahesabiwa, Nyanza imehesabiwa, then unabaki na Eastern ndio ijamalizwa kuhesabiwa. You already know the president.
Exactly.
Hata Eastern yote ikihesabiwa, you already know Eastern ndio iko na hii kura so much. Hata wakiiba hata ngapi. It will the opportunity to steal elections, and it is cheaper for the electoral body in Kenya. That's how I look at it.
You see something, we go back to history, The way the elections were designed to be conducted in Kenya during the first election after independence, all the way to date. Those very early days, the election process was designed for a population of some 20 million people. And of those 20 million people, probably registered voters was close to maybe 1 million, 2 million, something thereabout. So it was working at that time. Now, just like in public administration and resource allocation in Kenya, there are some Africans who got into that space that the white man left, na wakaonja hii asali, na wakapata kitu ni tamu. Then they become the black colonialists, the neo-colonialists. Hawataki kuchange, because if they change, they lose out. So they maintain status quo, the way we do our elections. And this is not just elections. This is across so many things. The functioning of our jail and prison system. that should be changed. Something as simple as our driving school and our driving school curriculum. Those are things that should change. The way we do our public procurement and tendering, those are things that should change. But we are stuck with vitu wakoloni waliacha. And that's what the problem is. So you are, Mzalendo, you are very right when you say that the political class is riding on this inefficiency of this old system to maintain control and to be able to manipulate the electoral process. But if you ask me, that proposal that is on the table for the election process, I support it 100%. So that we do exactly what you are saying that happens in the US. We should have elections in a way that on the same day, at the latest the next day early morning, if it's not declared, people already know this is going this way, because you count the votes that have been counted, that have been reported by the media, you look at what is remaining, you can project and extrapolate and see that hii kitu nani amechukua, and let it be something that we don't, in Kenya, the reason why what you are saying, Zalendo, is what happens. They count votes, bado wanahesabu Okea Mutata 1, Nick Nyang'isa 2, Jeremiah Okelo 1, nani like that. So imagine if you want to do that for over 14 million votes across the country. Unaona ni ujinga tu.
But unaona, you are looking at it literally that hii kitu itafanyika, it happens simultaneously. It doesn't happen like you finish. You know where you vote in your village. I am telling you, by the time the polls close down by 6 p.m., you already know the results of who won in that polling center.
Exactly.
Yes.
By midnight, hata midnight ni mbali, by saa 3 saa 4, you already know that so and so won in this particular polling station, and there are other polling stations around that area. So it in 2 hours, 3 hours, you already know that huyu jamaa ameshinda in this constituency. So that's a simple thing, but the political class are attacking you.
They can't. Hawezi kubali.
I like.
But unajua Kenya wanatakanga ziende huko ndio waibe kila kitu.
No, tunasema hawawezi iba. But you guys, what do you see about Morara Kibaso's being on the ballot in 2027? Huyu Morara mnamwonaje? Jerry, unataka nini?
That's a very interesting and very exciting question, and I'll put it in the same box with the suggestion of Okea Omtata and Justice Maraga in one ticket. Those are very good people. They are people that can straighten this country. But one thing I can assure you, they will never get anywhere that seat if they continue kufuatia wa Kenya. Because one thing you also have to appreciate, Kenyans are, as a people, the way our politics has evolved over years, we don't vote on issues.
Exactly.
We vote on popularity. We vote on people who dishes out, handouts. So as much as Dani Morara is a very nice guy, he could help. He could be a good candidate, right? But I don't see him, being even a force to reckon with, because also the nature of our politics, it requires deep pockets. I doubt if he has pockets that deep, or if he has people that are willing to put their money on him and support him. So I don't. he would be a good person to have maybe in parliament, okay, but not the presidency.
Exactly.
Dominic, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to say something, my brother Mzalendo. Omondi amesema ukweli hapo kabisa. Huyu kijana Kebaso, wacha aelekea parliament. Aende pale kwa akaulize kiti pale, akuje parliament oversight. Anaweza fanya kazi mzuri hapo.
That would be
Lakini
good.
being a president of this Republic of Kenya, lazima atoboke hiyo mfuko yake. Tusi umesikia ule senator wa sijui ni wa Nandi ama ni wa Kericho. Say aliambia mtata tafuta 7 billion. Sijui ilikuwa juzi.
Yeah, alimwambia juzi.
Imagine wewe niambie mtu akwambie hivyo. It's not a joke by the way, kukuwa president wa Kenya lazima utoboke. It's not a joke. So
mimi nakwambia, mimi nimeshakimbia na hao siasa. Governor peke yake, governor kuwa governor na uende mahali kuna hii constituency ya kina Jeremy uende hapo pale Wajaluo wamefungua mdomo pesa yako ndo nangoje.
That is the truth, my brother.
Unamaliza rally hivi, you know Kisii ni afadhali. Unajua Nyabuto, you guys are, let me tell you, the difference between Kisii politics and Luo Nyanza politics is that Kisii politics hautumii pesa mingi sana.
Exactly.
Hautumii, Wakisii wakisha kupenda
wamekupenda.
And the Kisii youths are economically empowered. They don't have time to line up to 200 ama nini. Wanakuja kusikia sera yako, kama wakutaki wanakukataza tu hapo. Wewe hatukupatii, tulikupatia umeshindwa kazi. Kazi. That is the difference between Kisiis and Luos. They will change leaders year out.
And Mzalendo, not even just Kisiis and Luos. It's, I think, the whole country and Luos. Over the years, the politics in Luo Nyanza has evolved into something where if you want to vie for elective position, wewe ni a cow for the people to milk you. And for people to vote, you have to be milkable. If you're not milkable, you will not.
You're out.
No matter how good you are. And you have people.
Can you imagine? Even the good leaders cannot try. They cannot even attempt. There are so many people who can make a difference.
Exactly.
Somebody wants to be a leader to inspire change, and is a Luo. They don't. We have them. Nick, you know all these people. The professionals, people that really want to do, they won't even go to anywhere near politics because of the nature of our politics in that part of the country.
They don't want even to talk about it. Forget even about it. They don't even talk about it. They don't even talk.
The few who tried burned their fingers, and those who did not try, waliona wakasema hapa, wacha ni nyamaze, wacha tu nifanye kazi yangu ama biashara yangu.
Kazi yako uende nyumbani ukae, because I am telling you, you know, Dominic, what you don't know about, you unaona hiyo group leo wamepokea rais.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, the senator of Kisumu had to part with the money. It was the governor that crowd was paid. There is no way.
Exactly, my brother. Exactly.
You will get that crowd for free. Utawalipa.
Already tusaanza kuona creeps. Watu wasachukua creeps, already zaanza kutembea.
Utawalipa na utawalipa pesa mzuri sana. Si ati nini, utawalipa. Hiyo ndio shida ya Luo Nyanza and politics, and that is why we don't get, despite this community having the most learned, you know, people who are learned, engineers, doctors, lawyers, but the kind of people that they elect. Wewe niambie, kuna constituency moja hapa iko na mtu kama Junet Mohamed, mwingine anaitwa Mondowere, mwingine ni kafupi wa Karachonyo huko anaitwa nani?
Adipo kuomo.
Adipo kuomo. Yani watu
Adipo
wengine
kuomo.
hata hawaongeagi hata kwa parliament. Yet they lead constituency yake, kuna ma lecturers, kuna ma engineer, kuna ma daktari, kuna political analysts. Yani people who can lead the people, but they are never given a chance. And because of our bad politics.
A lot of times, Nick, it's not even that they are not given a chance. They don't even present themselves for the chance, because the moment you present yourself, you have to bootlick a certain somebody. So if by the time you've gone to school, you become a professor and you've lectured in a university for so many years, and you are an expert in maybe economic development or whatever field, you can reason, you can analyze things. So when you get in a situation where somebody wants you to bootlick them this way, that way, this way, before you get a party ticket to go and vie, you can try it once before you know better. But the moment you go through that process once, the next time, unasema sikae tu, let me go back to school and teach. That's why you see a lot of professionals, wamejaribu once, they go through that experience, they are like, this I'm not going to do this again. They go and shut down, and you never hear them. They go and sit down and
you watch us here. I'll tell you a story. This just happened 2 weeks ago. I get a call from my friend Anaishi, Texas. Opande calls me and say, hey, Nick, we have somebody who is new here. Welcome him to America and all that. Now, this guy introduces himself. He's a professor. Hey, prof, I've just been here for 2 weeks. I like the country. Then we get into a conversation that lasted almost 2 hours. Now, this guy told me, one, I told him, we in the US, we are trying to go back home and build our country. He told me, which country? Which country are you trying to build? Which one? Kenya. You must be sick.
Yeah.
And I asked him, you are a professor. By the time you get into the US system and even do something meaningful here, you'll be working at Walmart, a supermarket, arranging soap and other things and cleaning the place. And you are a professor. Are you ready to do that? He told me, Mzalendo, listen, I am ready to do it. I will do it. But telling me to go back to Kenya, no way. I have my shop there. I have a house there. I have everything there. But I can't go back to that country. Have you seen what is happening lately? People are being killed. People are what? I would rather loan my neighbors. I was loaning my house the other day, and the neighbor Mzungu called me and said, hey, can you loan me this compound for $200? I would rather do that than be a professor in Kenya. Can you imagine that?
It is that bad.
It is that bad. Yani nikasema hata mimi ule nafikiria kurudi nyumbani. Hata mimi si professor, but
wewe kuja na hiyo pesa yako kidogo.
Professor ndio huyu professor ndiye ametoka Kenya, ameniambia
wewe kuja na hiyo pesa yako kidogo tukusaidie when you're on vacation for that 2-3 weeks when you're here. Ukimaliza rudi tu. Utuache sisi tupambane, because wewe system ya Kenya sahi, it will take you, if you come back to Kenya now, it will take you 10 years to start understanding the system. But you tell sahi ukiongezewa 10 years ndo uanze kuadjust to Kenya system.
10 years unaenda kufanya ni, yani before you adjust 10 years umeadjust ndio uingie na hiyo kabal, uingie kwa procurement, exactly, entrepreneur. Wewe ni mzee, unaanza kutibu magonjwa ya uzee.
So what is this? Those of us who are here, we know how to go around it, but on a very serious note, I think Kenya is at a place where we really need to have very honest conversations, with ourselves, and more so, Nyabuto, not to tribalize this whole conversation.
Yeah.
You know, they say charity begins at home. And when I say Nyanza in this context, Nyabuto, even though I include you, we need
Yeah.
to really look at where are we going as a people who've always been known to have ideologies. It's always long been known that if you find a Luo in a government office, you are sure to be served well. You don't anticipate to be asked for bribes and things like that. But now we are at a point where, like what Zalindo was mentioning when I came in, the Luo vote is auctioned to the highest bidder. If Uhuru comes and he wants the Luo vote because he knows that will get him to State House, he comes and the Luo vote is sold to him. When Ruto wants, he leaves the other people, he comes and buys. And now the Luo people who have been, co-opted into this government, they're now the ones defending something that they did not even eat. One, two, something that the whole world is against. Them, they are still sitting there looking stupid and trying to defend it. Or Peo and I is defending something in parliament, and before he even leaves the chambers of the parliament, the president comes and cancels that thing. Do you think that there was no intelligence that the president was going to cancel those 10 tenders? He knew going into parliament, he knew that. Why did they not tell Wandai that, you know what, they would have just told the House Business Committee chair, who is also the president's party member, that can you hold that interview with the minister for energy? Can you guys hold that Mungoje Mfanye after the president has spoken, so that he didn't have to go and embarrass himself, and then president comes 10 minutes later and cancels? Do you see that was deliberate? They let him go there and look stupid, and then come and cancel. That shows you there is no goodwill in that. Today again, you look at people like Junet. Junet's trying to say that now that people have chased away Adani, now they need to come up with a solution of how to fix the issue of JKIA. Since when did opposition stand with the government against the people? The people have spoken. Adani is bad. You are an opposition leader. You are the opposition chief whip in the National Assembly. Why are you asking Kenyans to tell the government, what can be done about JKIA? Because Kenyans have chased away Adani. Very wrong. So we need to really look at where are we going as a people, especially the type of people we put into leadership. We have to really have a serious discussion as a country.
I agree with you. I mean, the issue, that issue of, I watched the minority leader saying that they now support the government on the president's speech. And he supported every other thing that the president of the Republic of Kenya said. And this is a minority leader who is supposed to be in the opposition, who is opposing an alternative government.
He should be oversighting the executive.
But unajua Junet alianza kitambo hata wakiwa Migori. Hajaanza jana.
Yes.
So this is I mean ni wakati, and then shida ni, the problem is you cannot be in the minority supporting the government and at the same time you are oversighting the same government.
Exactly.
How does that work? You know, how does it work? You know, for a very long time we have been lied to that, and I think it is the greed by ODM, the greed by ODM to be in not even ODM, Azimio. The greed, ODM has refused to leave Azimio. You know, the ODM has refused to leave Azimio completely.
They are not going to leave.
And they claim they are still in Azimio, but they don't even attend any of the meetings on Azimio.
They're leaving it as a backup. If you know politics, they're leaving it as a backup, so that if a case, something happens, they can always run back there and say we are in Azimio. That is just wameacha tu as a backup.
No, hiyo ni politics ya conmanship. I think that is now conning the people. We are opposing this government. At the same time, this government is the one that is supporting the leader on AU seat, and it is the one that is saying that we have co-opted the ODM party. But looking at Jeremy, there is something that I've been trying to figure out. What happens to our friends who are UDA supporters and they come from Nyanza? Who are candidates who want to vie for the position? I know of a friend who wants to be the governor. Husband wants to be the governor, of course, on a UDA ticket. They want to vie. Yes.
Hesbon Omolo.
Yeah, Hesbon Omolo really wants to. I've heard rumors like that he wants to vie to be the gubernatorial candidate. But these are people who are going to vie definitely on a UDA ticket. Is it possible for these people to vie on a UDA ticket now that there is a collaboration between UDA and ODM?
If you ask me, what I foresee happening is that one, Raila is going to fail in the AU. Okay? Then when he comes back, he has two choices. One, to decide to vie again on an ODM ticket, which will be a very interesting scenario. And if he does, that gives Ruto a very clean slate back in 2027. Second option Raila has is stick it out with Ruto up to 2027, and that, for me, that is the most probable solution, because it won't be just his decision. It will be a decision that will be pushed by Ruto. Ruto will do whatever it takes to keep Raila with him. So I see a situation where he will spend money to buy Raila or pay him or whatever his people, whatever the case may be, like we started with this co-opting experts thing going on. Okay, he can possibly, because he has the numbers in the National Assembly, the Senate, he could possibly create a scenario where the executive has an issue and he wants to create a prime minister position and put Raila in there for the last 2 years of his term, in which case we'll keep Raila. Because one thing Ruto knows, there is no politician in Kenya as dangerous as an idle Raila. You have to keep Raila busy. And that is why even now, Ruto knows Raila is not going to win AU, but he's keeping Raila busy. You see, now he's in West Africa. He's keeping Raila busy. He knows Raila is not going to win. He already knows those. But he's keeping Raila busy because he knows as an idle Raila in Kenya is dangerous for any administration.
So he's keeping Raila busy and
yes. Yes. So he will do that once Raila comes back after losing the AU thing. He will keep Raila busy one way or another. And one of the things that I know he can easily do, and Raila will not have a problem with it, is create a situation where the government is in a crisis. He needs somebody to help him, a prime minister of sorts, give him some an illegal portfolio and keep him close to him and ride with him up to the elections.
Wow.
When that happens, Ruto is going to go back very cleanly. Then whatever he does second term, that will be a different story. So the people that, like you're asking Zalendo, those people who are, to answer the question now, the people who are going to vie in Luo Nyanza on UDA tickets, what will happen is UDA and ODM will form a pre-election coalition. And they will go like that.
But my brother Jeremy,
that's what I think. That's what I'm thinking will happen.
Kuna swali nauliza hapa. Kuna ka story kana penya if all goes well. Ni kama huyu mama wa Homa Bay anaweza kuwa running mate wa Ruto. Kuna ka upepo kana pita na unajua kitu ikisemwa liko. Will it happen?
I don't know that. I've heard it as well, but I don't know. It might. In politics, you can't say never. It might happen, and if it does happen, then it leaves Mzalendo's opinion that Hezbollah Omolo then would step in and go for a big gubernatorial post. So it's possible. It's possible. You can never say never.
You have closed that puzzle very intelligently. That it leaves that vacuum for Hezbollah Omolo to sleep in. But
yes.
One thing I need to add to you, Jeremy, is that the Luo vote is a very useless currency in Kenyan politics today. I don't know, the value has diminished with time. I've seen Raila's politics since 2007. The numbers that he has been getting lately, it does not reflect the same person that we voted for in 2007. He's not been getting as many seats in Western as he used to get. He's not getting as many seats in Coast as he used to get. And this likewise to Nairobi. So the numbers are really, really going down. And I don't see the ODM party rejuvenating itself. Now, to answer you on the Gladys Wanga aspiration and ambitions, first of all, this is a woman who has failed terribly in Homa Bay. And having her as a deputy or a running mate of a president does not add value to the Ruto's candidature. Ruto needs a candidate that will add value. Kindiki does not add any value to
exactly
Ruto, and is going to be dismissed to come to 2027. He does not add any value. He is so inconsequential. He's not even political. So let me leave Anthony Okwara to say something. Anthony, say something, one.
Oh. Anthony, it's your time. Ameenda
atarudi tu.
Amepotea. Hiyo huyo Gladys Wanga leo aliongea akaambia
if what you have said is very right, but what I think would happen, and this goes back to the statement I said earlier, Ruto has to keep Raila happy and busy.
Happy and busy.
if and because you know this, Nick, as well as I know Mzalendo, that right now Gladys has the favor of Raila and his household, meaning Ida, because she's feeding them very well. If Raila knows that Gladys goes and run with the Ruto, and by the time Gladys goes there, he's already pointed what he wants, he will gladly let that happen. The value for Ruto will be that they can design it so that Gladys brings the female vote. That could be a little bit of an impact. Could help him, depending on how they message that. So that's what I would see. But let me tell you guys the truth. The way the Kenyan politics is structured right now, if everything stays the same, Ruto is going to go back to be the president in 2030, from 2027 up until 2032. I don't see any way anyone can beat him. Yes, you can beat him, but I don't see him surrendering that seat. I don't see him saying at Kasarani and handing the sword to someone else. I don't see that happen. But can I tell you something that happened 2 weeks ago that I said this could be the 8. Forget Omtata. Forget, Kebaso. If Jagot, Dr. Matiang'i, steps in the ring, my friend, I can tell you Ruto won't be a happy person in this Kenya. And even if that were to happen, even Raila's support for him would start wavering. Because I can tell you for a fact that if Matiang'i and what has been said is happening, that is Uhuru. You can take that to the bank. That is Uhuru. And if Uhuru is involved, they know how to twist Raila. They know how to position Raila with the carrots, dangling carrots for him.
Exactly.
That they can dangle for him things that Ruto might not be able to dangle for him.
Exactly.
If the issue of Matiang'i is true, that is going to run, I can tell you that is the only time I see Ruto actually having a real challenge at the presidency. Other than that, I don't see anyone. Kina Kalonzo, there's nothing there. Those ones, Ruto will win very early in the morning.
What?
Well, you see now the politics. Now, this now begs the question that is our politics has not reached a point of where we are looking at people of integrity.
Yes.
No, we are still not yet at that juncture where we are looking at this guy is clean, this guy can manage. We are looking at somebody who can marshal a presidential campaign and win. And in that group,
numbers
and win the numbers. So the combination of Matiang'i and Gachagua is a done deal. If Matiang'i can combine with Gachagua and get Natembea on board from Western, then Kalonzo to ride again on the same boat, then I think Ruto can go home. Ruto can go home easily. But if that combination cannot be realized, then Ruto will still be the president. So that combination has to be really, really worked upon. And I am glad people are seeing it this way, because I'm in a group where people think that Kenya has reached a point where they need somebody of integrity. No, hii siasa ya Kenya bado tunahitaji wakora wengine in another circle wakuje. Then in 2032 we can look out for people of integrity. That is what Jeremy has said in short.
Yeah. That is the nature of Kenyan politics. I can tell you that. And it's not going to change.
That is the nature of
Kenyan. It's not going to change in 2027.
Host, namna gani bana?
Mbona Matiang'i hawezi sumbua Ruto. Matiang'i ametulia sana, atasaidiwa na nani? But wanasema Uhuru is the most influential person in Africa. Alienda South Africa akasaidiana huko, akaenda Nigeria.
That's why I'm telling you, if you see if Matiang'i actually vies, trust me, it's because of Uhuru. Matiang'i on his own has nothing. Peke yake. And if Uhuru is involved with him, you know that he's going to run a serious race. And Kenyans love Matiang'i. People saw the things he did. People saw the way he works. And that's what people are yearning for. People are yearning for leadership that can hold people accountable, that can, show results. That this is what used to be the case. I intervened and did this, and this is where the case is. Matiang'i has numerous results. When he was in education, when he was in ICT, when he was in interior, he can show what he did that people liked. They are tangible, you can count them.
And what if among the former prime minister ifike hiyo time ya 2027 atangaza aseme nimeunga Matiang'i mkono. Na our brothers from
Hiyo
Central
Matiang'i
pia.
amemaliza.
Hiyo deal itakuwa imeisha.
Matiang'i akisimama na baba msupport.
Yes.
That is a serious threat to Ruto. Wanaweza shinda on the ballot, but knowing the history of Ruto, hata peana sword Kasarani, he won't. He would rather have a government of national unity or nusu mkate or something, but hata peana sword yote iende Kasarani. That I can assure you. That hatafanya.
That is the only fear we have in Kenya.
Apeane sword iende. Hiyo hapana. So that combination will run, but will fight, because remember that if there is bloodshed, there is post-election violence, there is what, those are happening as is the sitting president. So anyone who is coming in has to start from that foundation that is the sitting president.
Okay.
So whatever solution that has to come, that is saying that atoke ndio tuongee, it won't happen. You have to first accept that ye ni sitting president. So now what do you want him to do? You remember the way Kibaki's situation with Raila in 2007?
Yeah.
Yes, everyone knew. Even Kibaki himself knew huyu jamaa amenichapa. Hata wacha nimwachie. But when Anand and the rest came to do the peace deal, they starting from the point of Kibaki is the sitting president. Let's go from there. Then now you end up with the government of national unity, or nusu mkate, whatever you want to call it. And for me, I think that's what's going to happen with Ruto. People will Matiang'i can put up a really good fight, right? Might even beat him by the numbers. But the question is, will he give up the sword viraisi at Kasarani? I doubt if he will.
Hey, Matiang'i naye akikuwa president. You guys, are you imagining Matiang'i ni president wa Kenya?
A tough man.
Mutaamka hiyo jinga mutaamka. Matiang'i ataanza kwa kuandikia viboko kila asubuhi. Wewe unasumbua.
That is true.
Utaandikiwa kiboko kila siku na umeshikwa na corruption. Matiang'i atakwambia beba mzigo yako bwana.
Enda home.
Enda home. You know.
Na ukienda hivi kwenda kuchukua vitu zako kwa ofisi EACC ndio hiyo.
Yeah, wewe kitu ile ufanye tu, chukua vitu zako kwa ofisi uende nyumbani, tutakusindikisha. The best I can do for you is to make sure that you don't go to jail, but leave that office. I think
but we need a strict leader. Kenya nataka kiongozi kama yule mwenye anapunish wale viongozi wako corrupt bwana. Watu wanaiba pesa mingi.
Lakini sasa ile combination ile nilikuwa ninaangalia. Ukio mtata na
huyo
yeye atakufunga.
Huyo hana political influence hata.
No, you see the other time this group called Gen Z.
It's so polite.
You know, I need you to go back to 2022. 8 million Kenyans did not vote. There's a group of young people. The other day we saw what they can do. Now they have been ignited to participate in the elections. You've seen them appearing in talk shows na nini. This group will participate in the 2027 elections. For the first time, mark my words, they are participating for the first time as a group that is annoyed, is agitated, and wants to revenge on William Ruto. This is a group of professionals and a group of unemployed youths. Do you know what? I was shocked the other day, Dominic. These young people, do you know what they were doing during the demonstration? They came from home. They had marker pen.
Exactly.
Wameandika namba zao za simu kwa mwili. Hapa mahali yote, kila mahali. ati wameandika namba za simu in case wawawe, unaweza pigia mzazi wao simu.
Imagine.
You are dealing with that kind of person. Start imagining your son or daughter gone for a demonstration na amekwambia dadi nimenunua maka hii namba, ukipigiwa simu wali wote mochari yote hospitali yote itakuwa mimi ndio niko kwa hospitali kama nimekufa. So this country has reached that point. So you can imagine where everybody else is. Na bado unaona watu wengine wanasema Ruto can come back. Ruto, I don't see, Jeremy, I don't see this guy coming back at all. Not
even me, I don't see. I don't see kama Ruto hakuwa na chance.
You see, Mzalendo, what I said there is that depending on who he runs against, there are people that if he runs against, for example, if Raila comes back and Raila wants to run again, that I can guarantee you, if the option is Ruto, horse number 1, Raila, horse number 2, maybe Kalonzo, horse number 3, number 4 Okia, number 5 Kebaso, number 6 kina Mwaura, nani kina those guys like that, hiyo Ruto anarudi nyumbani.
What if Papa is being supported with Central?
Yes, but if this guy is gang up against him, ataenda home. But what I said is that any good combination can beat him in the ballot. But will he surrender? Will he say, mmeshinda, chukueni, endeni nayo? Do you think Ruto's personality, what in his personality tells you or shows you that if somebody beats him fair and square, atasema ule nani ameshinda na awache na peane sword? What in his character or personality or in his political history tells you that is somebody willing of accepting that nimeshindwa?
Ruto, you are right. Ruto has never lost any election, first off. And the one that he lost, that he was in, he was with Raila Odinga. And he was the one who pushed Raila to the negotiating table. And he held the line for Raila Odinga with these people in the Rift Valley. So you are absolutely right. But I don't think he will reach to a point where he's not surrendering the sword. But he will negotiate with people like Matiang'i before election. Wewe usisimame. Ukisimama, this is going to happen to you. Or chukua hii pesa, mkae kando.
Yeah, he can do those.
Yeah.
He can do that.
Just do that. Hey, Matiang'i bana, hii ni bilioni moja hapa, bilioni mbili. This is money that you eat for the rest of your life. Weka kando huko. There's nothing that you want in politics. We have given you security. Go and buy the
what is your problem? What do you want?
Else do you want? Unataka nini? Let me, you can think about coming to elections after 2007. After 2027, because you'll be young. Utakuja after mimi. And apart from this, I'll give you a position. Even today, I am telling you, do you know the CS for internal security has not been appointed?
Nope. And that's intentional.
That is intentional. A country is running without CS for internal security. It is intentional. Yeah. I will not be surprised.
There's a reason why.
I will not be surprised.
And the reason is why, by the way.
I will not be surprised if Dr. Matiang'i is appointed tomorrow.
Don't be shocked.
I don't think so.
Don't be shocked.
Don't be shocked.
Are you sure?
I am telling you. And what happens when he appoints? What happens when he appoints? What happens when he appoints Matiang'i? The politics changes completely.
Everything will stand.
And he can do that.
Dominic here will be telling me that you'll be voting for Ruto again.
I will vote for Ruto.
Look at this
Because
guy.
I don't
He was
think
so objective a few hours ago. Right now he's saying if Matiang'i is given the CS, he's voting for Ruto.
because of what,
And
my brother?
anything,
You
and
know,
anything is possible.
akichagua Matiang'i, I don't see a competitor, a serious competitor. Now, I think Ruto will win.
Angalia, you know, this is now where my Kenyan friends, you are not honest. You are not very honest. Now, everything I had really respected in Nyabuto until he made this statement. When I said, okay, Matiang'i is appointed the CS for internal security, then Ruto all of a sudden becomes a good person. How?
But my brother, let me ask you. Mi sijasema akimchagua huyo jamaa atakuwa amepadrika. You know politics of Kenya, shida tuko nayo. Unajua si sasa hapa Kenya mtu wenu akiwa kwa government. Akiwa kwa government, you know you have to support that government. By the on my side, mimi Matiang'i akifuka pale, lakini sioni kama Matiang'i akipewa hiyo kazi anaweza jitokeza, because that is sioni.
Hata
my friend, Matiang'i awekewe 5 billion. Naambiwe we shikilia hapa, nikitoka we hii kitu kuja uchukue bwana. You think atakata?
Hatakata. Lakini ile follow Matiang'i yako nayo kutoka nyuma akina Uhuru Kenyatta. Do you think Ruto akimchagua asubuhi tusikia jina yake mtangazo anaweza kuja afanye hiyo kazi?
Awacha kwanza nikuulize, I want you to start imagining this, Dominic. Una 5 billion Kenya shillings, 5 billion Kenya shillings inabebwa na nini?
5 billion hiyo inaweza pepwa na trailer bwana.
Inaletwa na ile van ya Wells Fargo.
Exactly.
That kind of money is delivered by a van ya Wells Fargo. Deliver hiyo tena na deliver hiyo usiku. Wewe kitu utafanya nayo hiyo ni shauri yako. But the money you have delivered it for you. Hebu niambie. We started this discussions with you saying that Ruto must go. But immediately we realized that when Ruto gives the...
No, my brother. I have not changed my mind. No.
Matiang'i, you can easily change your mind. No, this is happening. This is not only happening to you, but it can happen to somebody else. And if it is not happening to you, majority of cases will feel that, oh, now one of our own is on the seat, then Ruto is just okay. Just like my community, when they were given the CS for the PS and those other positions, then we became contented with whatever Ruto is doing. And we felt okay. Let me invite Bets Willie. I hope I got the pronunciations right. Unmute, just unmute. Bets. Good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
hello to you, madam.
Yeah. Please welcome to Afrique 24 and tell us where you are listening from or you're tuned in. And I'm glad to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. My name is Betty, and I'm tuning in from Oxford in the UK. I've been listening to the politics, and obviously it's affecting me despite the fact that I'm not in the country, but Kenya is home. So everything that goes on there affects us one way or the other, even if we're outside in the diaspora.
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest challenge has just been wondering whether we'll ever get good leadership in the country and how people will be able to vote next time wisely and not so much the UDA or the Kenya Kwanza, or I don't know whether you call them the political parties, but to elect the leaders who can do things, because I think that is how we found ourselves in this situation. Voting, having alliances by tribe, and the person you're electing possibly is not even qualified to do just that leadership of being a minister or being an MP. So it will be interesting to see how the next election will pan out. And also just to understand whether people understand the mistake they made, because you can only move forward if you know what went wrong, and if you, so that you can do something different to make things different and have a different outcome. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and that's why I stand, and is just hoping that the mwananchi, who is all of us down at the bottom, grassroots, will be led with, will vote with the needs, knowing that their child will go to school not barefoot but will have shoes on, because the coffee will be paid on time, the systems will be set, aligned. But this can only come through good governance, and people who are accountable. And I think we probably do need to have this particular leadership. I'm not saying to be taught a lesson, but they need to have some form of accountability. They just don't come out of the office without telling us where's the money, or like some form of a follow-up, because we will need the money. And they always say they've left the coffers empty, but Kenya is very rich. So with good governance, some of these problems can be resolved. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Betty. I agree with you. I started this show by saying that Kenya has reached a point where we need to look at economic development other than the political parties or the tribal alliances that are there. So we need to look at a candidate that is going to revive the economy and hope that the people of Kenya need. But the more I continue talking to people, the more we host panelists on Africa 24, is when I realize that we are yet far away from that kind of ideology and thought process that so many people are thinking, especially the people in the diaspora. We tend to think, and we have a cautious that good governance will bring development in the country. But the voters, the real voters back at home, are they thinking in the same way? You've seen, maybe just to ask you a direct question, Ruto was in Nyanza today, in Kisumu precisely. The images you get from that kind of meeting, do you think that the candidates that are now eyeing for this seat will match that kind of reception or that kind of influence when they get into the ballot in 2027?
I don't know. Sometimes it's very, you may see what you're seeing, but we don't know whether these people were paid. Were they paid to turn up? So I think I would want to know, because if there was that kind of persuasion, attend the meeting, I'll give you 1,000. People are poor, so that 1,000 is their next meal, or the next meal for 2 days, or the next meal for 3 days. They will attend that meeting to get the 1,000. But if there wasn't that incentive, would they have gone? I don't know. So for me, I think I want to know what they paid.
But Betty, the indicator that what you've said serves to demonstrate is that come election day, if I can pay them 1,000 shillings today just to come to a rally, don't you think I would be able to pay them 1,000 or even more to come and vote for me on election day? So the capacity of somebody to pay that many people to come for a rally that, aside from the optics, has no other benefits, shows you that they have the capacity to pay that many people or even more to come and vote for them. So for me, that is, your question is very valid, but the way I look at it is that it's an indicator of the payers' capacity to pay many people to come to his rally, thereby able to pay that or more to come and vote for him. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
It's a shame because I think if I can be able to educate my grandmother, my cousins, and we have like an open and honest conversation to the people that are nearest to me, and everybody duplicates this and this is what, civic education, and tell people this is where we are here because we are here because of these mistakes, and this is where we are going away from, and this is the candidates we want to choose. I don't know if each one of us who understood progress or the effects of voting educated those that are around them. Maybe that's the only way we can do it. We become our own campaigners in our village to avoid this problem. It is a big problem, and I can't understand, because most people, we have the youth who have been to school. They're educated, but they're jobless. So I can't understand why they can't, even if we're just the youth were to vote, and vote wisely, they can make the change. The percentage is very high.
There,
The percentage of the youth.
there are two things. There are two sides to that conversation, in my view. Sorry for interjecting.
Yes, carry on.
For me, there are two sides to that coin. The first side is that these youths and these cousins and all the people that you can go and do civic education for, they've probably had civic education conducted on them, and they've been told to vote for the right people, maybe in 2013 and 2017 and maybe even prior. And what has happened is that they voted for somebody who they think is the right person, only for this person to go there and flip on them. So that they're like, this is not the person I voted to. The person I voted to said he'll do this, he'll do this, he'll do that. Why is he not doing this? Why is he not delivering this? You understand? So
Yeah.
they get disappointed by that. So now even if you conduct civic education, they're not sure if it's really worth it. That is one side of it. The other side of it is inherently in Kenya, our politics is not issue-based. Our politics is more, tribe or, other form of affiliation-based. If I'm a Muslim and there's a Muslim running against a Christian, I'll probably vote for them just because of the mere fact that we are both Muslims. If I'm a Luo and I have a Luo running against another tribe, I'll most probably vote for him because he's a Luo like me. And that goes for all the 42 tribes of our country. So that is the second part of that discussion. Until that changes, right, to where people understand that I'm not voting for you because you are my tribe. I'm voting for you because you are the right person. And then when you get there, you deliver on your promises. And even if you don't deliver 100%, at least deliver 80% or 90%. Then Kenyans, will always still have this problem with politics, where people literally, I can tell you that a lot of people say people within the ages of 50 back to say maybe 35, right? Those who voted more than once, they are like, what's the point? I vote and I don't get what I want. So what's the point? So even if you come and you are the worst person and you give me 1,000, I'll come and take that 1,000 and go. The next person who comes probably worse than you, they come with 1,000 or maybe 500. I'll take their 500, 1,000 and go, because that is what you hear everyone complaining about, voter apathy. Those are the challenges that Kenya needs to address. How they will be addressed, I have no idea. But until those issues get addressed, then we can start having good leaders.
You're right. Go on.
It's a great shame, because if that, even the politicians, when they come to vote, they don't talk policy. So they don't talk farming, agriculture, or the roads. They don't say that what I never get to hear that. I never get to hear that this is when we come in, we are going to do XYZ to improve. They never talk about who they stand for or what their party stands for. And I think even so, we don't even know what it is we're electing. So they already come without an aim, without goals, without action plans. So how do you expect that party to develop or be progressive or development friendly if they hadn't even got a manifesto to say what it is that they will do for us in the 5 years? If you elect me, I am going to build this road. If you elect me, I am going to make sure the children have school primary fees is free, or university fees is free, or Kenyans just, I don't know what they listen to when they campaign. What do they talk about? Because they don't say these things. And I think maybe that's even where we go wrong.
You see that 1,000 you talked about earlier? That's all they hear. Because like you said it, in your own words, that's their meal for the next 3 days.
So Betty, you know, I want to ask Betty a question. Betty, who do you think right now in the political scenario that we are in can bring change in the country?
So actually, I have been looking around and I have been listening, and the people who have come to the forefront for me, I would vote for Matiang'i. And that man, when he speaks one with a clear mind and direction. And we've seen that he has managed to do something when he was in power. He streamlined education, or he attempted to. I think he's the only one who moved things forward. I would vote for Omutata.
Okay, Omutata.
I think the man is he hasn't had political, he's not a politician, but I think with him he can address issues and he can understand the constitution, because that's his line. So he will, in terms of governance, I think he will follow the constitution and make things right in that perspective. So I think Matiang'i is a leader, and he will lead by action. Omtata will be through governance. He may identify what needs doing, and he follows the constitution how to get there. I like Murara because he has stepped up. He hasn't got he's not a politician. He's got vision. So he's a visionary. I think he knows what Kenya needs to look like in 30 years, 50 years time. If we sort these things out, we will get our kids going to school. This is where our money is we're losing money. So he may not be a politician now, but I think he can be a good leader because he has a vision. I'm not sure about the other lot. The other lot will be the woman. What is her name? This lawyer
Betty,
lady. What is her name?
Betty, she's,
Karua.
Yeah, Karua. I'm not sure
Karua.
about Karua because I think she can be part of the cabinet.
Same monkey.
If I was the president, I'd probably put
Karua is
her.
same monkey.
Sorry?
Karua is same monkey. You can't.
Different
You put
outfit.
her there.
So I
Of course,
probably
it's the same monkey.
I would probably put her because
Same monkey.
I would probably put her. Let me say something. I think sometimes you have to have experience, people with experience. So imagine Morara. Morara has a vision. He needs people. So if he put Matiang'i and he put Tata in his cabinet, and he went and found replica of these people 10 times, people who can act, people who, when they're told go do this job, they go and complete the job. They do not they are clean, so they will keep their sheets clean. They wouldn't want bribing. I'm not sure. I would wipe out the judiciary and I would get fresh blood. I would get every single magistrate, chief justice out. I would just flush them all out because I don't think they are a representative of what we need in 10, 20 years to come. We want people who are not stained. So those are the people I think I would look at. I think there's this woman, Wamushoma or somebody. Is she called Wamushoma?
Wamshomba.
That one. I wouldn't see her. That one. I wouldn't see her as a president, but I would want her in my cabinet. I don't think she's
Why?
when she speaks, she's a crowd mover. I don't hear vision. I hear she wants cheering. So maybe she's able to. She would be good in the cabinet, but I wouldn't see her as a president. I don't know whether you see what I'm saying. To be a leader, you need to. There's something when she speaks. I don't hear.
She's a mobilizer. She's a
No,
mobilizer. She
would
can get
no,
you
Betty.
numbers.
I
She can
don't think
get you
you'd need.
people.
I don't think you'd need that kind of person in your cabinet. You'd need in your political wing, not in position of leadership. Like you'd need as in your political camp. But my fear. Okay, now look. Have you tried to envision this? Morara is the president. Sitting in his cabinet is Matiang'i.
Carry on.
Sitting in his cabinet is Matiang'i, and Okio Mtata are also appointed in his cabinet, and Martha Karua may be appointed because these are people who have shown that they have got integrity.
Yes.
What will Morara be telling Matiang'i?
Can I just say?
Please remove Karua from that, please.
Once you're the president, you carry an office. So they might not. He doesn't even need to tell Matiang'i anything, but Matiang'i needs to come and say, nilienda shule zile za Taveta nikakuta we need money. So all Morara needs to say, where do you think we can find the money? I don't actually think that when you're a leader, you need to come out with you have to give the people you're with autonomy. So, and I think that is quite a substantial quality of a leader. So if I'm the president, I would say take the Ministry of Finance. All I need is a report. Can you tell me what is our debt? How can we reduce our debt? Where do we get the money from? And we don't nyanyaza people by going to their stalls and raiding them for tax. Can we have a straightforward system? That person will come back to you with a report. You go to education, say, can you tell me the problems we're facing right now in this ministry? What have you and your people come up with? That is the function of a leader. So you as the president, you cannot, what Ruto is doing, he's not being a president, he's a one-man show. And you can't run a country like that. It's not a kitchen. So you need to give people autonomy of what they need to do. They need to come back and answer to you so that you can be able to tell them. Yesterday you told me we were £3 short. Can you tell me how can we find this money that we are short? Go back to your calculator, come back and tell me how we can find this money. Which Denny's are quick to pay, which ones can wait, and how is it improving our economy? You don't need to. You need to give these people the job, and then you have to tell them when they go to employ people, you want to see credentials. I don't want to see the whole of Kisii land because I'm Kisii in finance ministry. And you actually can put him accountable and tell him, can I see the people working for you? Why do you have all these people from the same village working for you? Make him accountable. What are the qualifications of your people? And tell him, endo ufanye kazi. But you have to do that check as a president to be sure that things are going right.
But do you know, madam, sorry to interject. Do you know to have in politics of Kenya nowadays, kuna watu wako wise. In Kenya, huwezi kuwa wise than the president. Hapo hamtaelewana kwa hiyo cabinet. Mtaanza kurumbana hapo, it will make the president to fire you. Hapo sioni kama watu sasa mtu kama Matiang'i wafanya kazi na Murara. Sometimes I support msarendo. Hapo ni ngumu. That you don't need to be wise than the president. He will fire you early in the morning.
I don't understand why you would imagine he wouldn't land on the seat. He wouldn't run because he also has his own advisors. So when you're the president, you have a team of advisors around you who are actually giving you the information. Yes, Matiang'i is intelligent. Yes, Matiang'i has experience, but we don't have to be all of us as experienced. Look at Kibaki government. The Kibaki government had Michuki, these people were, I know Kibaki had a great wealth of experience in finance.
Exactly.
But he also had other people equally qualified, and they didn't fire him.
But they were old.
Sorry?
But they were old people.
Now when you talk about age, look at how the government in the UK is run. So I don't believe everybody needs to be young, but I think everybody needs to know what it is they're doing. Do you understand what your ministry is? Do you understand how it is run? Don't bring me somebody from your village because you went to school with them to run a whole ministry, because it will fail. You need credentials,
Exactly.
you need experience. But when you put all and it might be so that you find Matiang'i in Murara's cabinet, or the vice versa, Murara being, I don't know where would put Murara, but I can see Matiang'i being put anywhere and he would function. And I think you need a good team around you. You don't have to have the experience, and you will get the experience as you go along. Because honestly, if you can tengeneza kahawa, you tengeneza kahawa tea, you go and start making the industries function, the textile function, you start getting jobs for these people. Tell people you want to see how you can create jobs. People won't care how old you are.
Exactly.
Because they are functioning, there's food on their table, they're able to go to hospital and find medication. Would I care whether Morara is under 30 or I don't even know what his age is, but he looks like a very young man?
It is
Would I care?
around that.
And Walmart fanya.
So you wouldn't care as long as
Walmart tunalipa majani.
you're going to hospital. Put Matiang'i in Ministry of Health. Watu wakuwe na dawa, wakuwe na MRI machine, wakuwe na you want somebody who your ministers need to function. You don't need to have that experience. You just need to say, can we find out how can we pregnant women have a place to have these babies? We don't want them having them in their homes because hakuna hospitali. And question and get systems going. As a president, that is you to oversee. And I think I can see what, oversee people and listen to your ministers, because what they do right now, I don't even know what they do, to be honest. I can't even understand how any of these ministers are accountable for the going to work every morning. What are they doing? Mashida ndio mingi kwa hiyo country.
Their job
Exactly.
Their job is to create avenues to make money for themselves and for the president.
And that is where we went wrong, isn't it?
Yep.
And I understand there's a lot of cartels in Mombasa. There's a lot of cartels. Those cartels need to be streamlined. They would kill a lot of people because people don't want to let go of where they are getting their money. But how many people do they kill? You can't kill the whole country. Every
Exactly.
leader that is appointed, you can't keep killing them. They'll have to be uprooted. If everybody knows that, and this is why I'm saying it has to start with these people who wamekula pesa. Wacha waende prison. Wacha we show example that actually they can go to prison, so that the next people that come in, they don't want to go to prison. They will do what they need to do.
That's why we want to elect a good president, not a joker.
And
Can I tell you guys one thing? Can I share with you my theory?
Tell us.
And I will stick to this theory until I die, because I believe in it. It's the only way Kenya can be saved. By the time even Morara or Matiang'i or Omtata navigates the Kenyan political landscape and gets to the presidency and gets sworn in as the president, the way the Kenyan politics plays, he will be entangled and compromised and will owe so many people so many favors that it becomes impossible to fight corruption, because those people who have entangled him and compromised him and he owes favors are the ones doing those corrupt deals. Why? Because they are the people who will invest in his campaign with the hopes that when he gets there, they will get government tenders to get their money back.
Exactly.
So my theory is that anyone who gets elected into the presidency in Kenya can never change Kenya. The person that I know can change Kenya is two people. One, say for example, the current scenario of our executive. If the president, God forbid, and I hope this is not treasonable, if the president currently now dies, okay, the deputy president will automatically become president.
Yes.
If this current deputy president really wants to change Kenya, he is the one who can strike down the hammer and say enough is enough. And he can successfully do so. Why? He owes no one anything. No one got him into that position except for the president selecting him. He can actually take people to jail and no one will cry. If you go crying to him, he tells you, boss, you had a deal with the former president. Please look for him. Me, I owe you nothing. I have no deal with you. You did what you did. Please deal with the law. Don't talk to me. I have nothing to do with that. If the persons that can change Kenya is if a deputy president gets it to be a president by way of the president dying, that's one person. The second person that can save Kenya is somebody, God forbid, who takes presidency by force, one way or another, and says, you know what, I want to change Kenya. I'm going for this, I'm fighting for it, I'm going to get, and he gets there and he says, kama umeshaiba, I'm coming for you. Anza kukimbia mapema. I'm coming. Because somebody who takes leadership like that owes nobody nothing. Don't be cheated that anyone, I don't care whether his name is Matiangi or Kebaso or Umtata or who. By the time you navigate the Kenyan political landscape and become a president, you owe so many people, you've been compromised by so many people, you are entangled in so many, issues, and those are the people who will come to perpetrate grand corruption in your government because they feel entitled, and you know it because you owe them. They put you there. That is my theory. Until those two types of people I've mentioned gets into presidency, it's going to be very difficult changing Kenya.
I think the difference, and your theory can hold water and could hold water, but I also think we also need to be having a system in place of transparency. So if anybody in the UK gives a party money for what do they call it, campaign, it's open, it's actually open knowledge. Does that make sense? So it's not this,
Yes.
everything is written, or they're accountable, so everybody knows who the donors for the each party is. And I think this is where we probably have not reached that level of transparency and accountability. So it is not wrong to invest in a party if you believe in that party. It is not wrong to support a candidate and support them financially if you're believing in their cause. But can the general public know that I have donated my 10 million towards your campaign? A lot of these things, we never get to know. And we have people end up having a lot of godfathers, like you say. But I think even if I was to support Murara or whoever is going to be the next president financially, I think they also need to say, in our books, these are the people who have funded our campaign, so that every Kenyan can know. Betty from UK supported with her 10 million. So and so supported with this, and so with this. So it may well be that you don't need to blackmail me by telling me I gave you 10 million. Where's my tender? Because everybody knows. But I think now people fund this and they don't tell people, and it's almost like a small kitchen cabinet. Few people know, and that is why they're able to blackmail you. But even if I was to give you that tender, is it in the open market, and is your price the best? People need to know that you won the tender because you're supplying the best items. Yeah.
You see, it doesn't start, grand corruption doesn't start at the tendering process. Tendering process is the sanitization process. Tendering process starts at initiation of a project. You see, let me give you, for example, the Adani project or the the chief Shah things. Somebody approached the powers that be, right? Maybe and up to and including the president, and told them, hey, you see, if we did this and this and this and this and this and this and this, we can make XYZ amount of money. But for us to do this, this is what we need to do, right? So those guys actually go to government, and tell them how to start. A lot of times, even these guys structure the tender documents, right? By the time it's being tendered, the bidder is the person who designed the tender document. So it's not that they give money and then they go and tell them, oh, you see, this tender is out, give me this tender. No, no, no. By the time the tender is out, the winner is the person who is the initiator of the project, and is probably the designer of the tender documents, and the wins and goes with it. Now, what you're saying is very right, Betsy. That is what we need to do. Absolutely, I agree with you. But do you think that a sitting president would be the one to start that? Somebody who has already been entangled in that situation. Do you think he would be the best placed person to say, now we want to start having transparency in lobbyists and the funding for campaigns? Do you think they would do that? My answer is probably they won't.
The country needs to, there's a lot of things that need to be put in place, and we can't put everything in place maybe this sitting, and maybe not this next 5 years. But if we start knowing that they do need to be put in place and start strategizing towards it, we have hope. So even if this time we're not able to do that, and we can progress on just the basics, that people are having a roof over their head, they are having 3 square meals a day, they are able to find work, I think that president will have done a lot, and we can elect them for the next thing, and then we can look at the next projects. But at the minute, we're so far down. Survival is almost, is what people need. They just need to make sure munakula, watoto wanasoma. And even right now, even the change of that education, I don't even understand why fix something that was not broken. What is this that we're going to now standard 9 or standard 8 and 9? And why change the system? Where is you getting the money to build the classrooms? You can't even put food on the table. These children are not eaten by the time you start telling them you're building them a classroom. Does it even make sense? The teachers aren't well paid, but you're increasing the curriculum they have to teach, and the curriculum is not even set out. So some of these things is poor governance, because if you're going to change a national curriculum, it doesn't start at the top. They could have started from standard 5 and say, in 4 years' time, we will start this properly. But for now, this is what we're trying to build the schools, we're trying to build the classrooms, we're trying to change and install it 4 years down. But I think they're doing it in such a way that next year or next year or this year, everybody's meant to be starting the curriculum. How is this possible? So zingine, you listen to these people and you think, what planet are they on? How do they even open their mouth and say this? The chief shaft thing is, if I was to be elected president, that would be the first thing I'd get rid of. And I would ask for my money back. You can always get a refund in this country. So if something is said, you're sold something that is not good, you go back to the owner and say, you missold me. Can I have my money back? So if they've paid for this shift shaft thing, they really need to get some money back. It's not working, and people are dying. It's very sad.
Wow, you guys, we have done almost 2 hours of this particular show, and I think we have come to a conclusion that we are far away from having a country. Maybe Dominic, can you give us your closing remarks? Everybody seems to be asleep. Melala, for sure. Apart from Betsy and Jeremy. You guys, we have done almost
3 hours.
3 hours of this particular program, but I can see guys on the comment section. Let me read for you a few comments that are coming from the people on the comment section. Kenya Revolutionary is saying Matiang'i is a criminal. You glorify criminals, and you wonder why you wonder why we are where we are as a country. Yes, I think we have tried to address this. He's talking about Matiang'i being a criminal. Kenya Revolutionary also says that Morara is a circus. Come on stage and tell us about this. And we have this guy, Robert Mburugu. Hi guys, let me expose these secrets to you. Our country is under demonic siege. Just look up at the word Shah in the dictionary. Oh yeah. We'll look it now. We'll look it up and see what that really means. Now, Betty, I want to thank you very much for coming to the show this evening. Make Afrique 24 your home, where we can have these political discussions most of the time. And if you don't mind, you can share your email on the comment section or your number, so that when we have these particular shows, we can send you the direct link so that you can be part of the discussion if you're free. So most of the time we have these discussions, and these discussions are important, that we get together, see where our country is and where we are going. It has been a nice evening meeting Dominic for the first time. Jeremy, we share a group together, and also my homeboy. Very, very informative discussion. He took us through the AAU, the position of Baba in the OAU, and he has told us categorically that Baba has already lost that seat to the Djibouti guy. So this we need to do a lot of civic education to our people. And remember, the social platform is where most Kenyans are. They are either on TikTok, or they are on YouTube or Facebook. So this information, we make sure that it reaches out to most of them, especially the topics that people have made that are so important. We will edit them, send them back to you, and you will see them across social platforms, because that is what informs the discussion in all the platforms. Otherwise, guys, I want you guys to give me your closing remarks on this particular evening. I know it's late in Kenya or wherever you are. Give me your closing remarks, and then let me start with Dominic. Dominic.
Hey, thanks so much, my brother Msarendo. Jeremy Omondi, this is my first time to meet you here.
Oh, okay.
Nasema ni asante sana kwa ile mjadala tumeongea. Na ile mambo yote Jeremy ametufunza kuhusu AU, hata mimi sikuwa najua. Sasa nimeunderstand kidogo. Exactly.
It was worth it.
Nimeunderstand kidogo. Asante sana. I think sasa hii ndio civic education poa sana. I think we will be meeting here. Tunaambiana machache. Asante sana, nimeshukuru.
Yeah, Dominic,
yes.
Mondi, closing remarks.
Mine, the Zalendo, thank you for putting this together, and and the rest of the team. I think moving forward, I don't know, you've done this before, Ama, this is the first one umefanya leo.
Oh my God.
We have been doing it. Tumekuwa
This thing
tukifanya.
has been here for over a year.
Exactly.
Since we have been.
Me, I'm just seeing it today for the first time.
You're seeing it. Oh my God! Sometimes I post the link there.
Yeah, I think it's a great platform. I think it's a great platform. Regularize it, moderate it vizuri, weka agenda vizuri. Today we are discussing 1-2 items evil. You discuss it exhaustively. If possible, invite watu wa government out, bring them on here to a question kama wananchi. If you have access to some of these leaders like Akode and NATO and Kaluma and those guys. Yes, Mili.
Kaluma is in our group. We will invite
bring them. Not Akode, the socialite. I mean Akode Mili.
I know. People don't know why we call Mili Akode. Mili Mabona, our home guy. Yeah. We invite her here.
Unless
forum. Yeah.
Yeah, people like that. So you just bring them and you just curate the conversation, and we also have talked to them, and we ask them a few questions, they answer, that type of thing. Other than that, I think it's a good session. Sasa nimejua wekanga link kwa group so that I'll be joining. I'll make an effort to be a regular moving forward.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. And let me tell you, the knowledge you gave us on AUC and many other topics that was raised today, it's not only us in the panel that were watching. This channel is watched with over 100,000 people, viewers worldwide. So they were really impacted by the information. And apart from this, this channel is also linked to our other channels like Mtembei. So whatever you say here does not only remain in Africa, it goes to other platforms that people can get the knowledge and information that they need. So it is important that people coming into this channel, they also subscribe to Africa. So when you go to your YouTube, just make sure that you have subscribed to Africa so that when we have these shows, you are notified that there is a show going on Africa. And it is free. You don't have to pay any money for subscription. Just subscribe to Africa and you'll be notified. Yeah, you'll be notified of the shows. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for being part of this discussion. I hope to see you again later in the evening as we analyze, because this politics, we have not even gone to what Ruto had gone to do in Nyanza, the kind of goodies that he gave the people of Nyanza. We will also be moving into the counties to see what the governors are doing in the counties. Otherwise, thank you very much. I leave you with this commercial for Raila Odinga. Until tomorrow.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, sote kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kwa Jamhuri, sote kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Twaenda mbio, Kenya yaenda mbele. Kwa elimu
yetu, tufanye sote bidii, nasi tujitoe kwa nguvu, nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda.